I don't know if Rand Paul's stunt where he's using a wood chipper and a chainsaw, which appears to me he's using a chainsaw for the first time. He's got this look on his face like it's a very, frankly, I will also say this, Rand Paul, you can try and look macho and not wear the protective goggles. But to not wear the protective goggles when you're chainsawing, I mean, I wear my glasses, and that's probably not quite as sufficient as it should be. But to wear nothing, particularly when you're doing little pieces of paper, come on. I couldn't get a sense of like how big that bar was on the chainsaw. But aside from trying to look manly by using tools that Rand Paul has never used before, he is promoting his flat tax. Now, I think we talked about this earlier this month or last month when he first introduced this. And he was saying, like, I want to leave money in Iowa and not in Washington. And we talked about how actually Iowa, and I think he cited Kentucky, they actually get more federal dollars than they put in. But put that aside for a moment. And also put aside the idea that somehow money goes to Washington and then just sort of evaporates, as opposed to gets put back into the economy in other, frankly, in many respects, more productive ways. It's much more productive to build a road, to enhance to build a tunnel under the Hudson River, frankly, to provide unemployment insurance than for one guy to have billions of dollars. But let's talk about Rand Paul's flat tax that he's trying to promote. Let's first just listen. Much of this is, you need the visual, but the audio is worthwhile. You'll get the sense of what he's doing when you hear all the big, I mean, this is really sort of sad. It's sad when you have to resort to like, if I play with power tools, people will pay attention to me. But here we go.
Hey, I'm Rand Paul, and I'm trying to kill the tax code, all 70,000 pages of it. If you want to know more about my plan to have a one-page tax code, a one-page tax return, flat tax of 14.5%, go to randpaul.com and you can learn more about it.
There you go. Poor Jimi Hendrix. That's, God, can you imagine anything that would be more horrible? Now, let me just say this. The idea of a one-page tax code and a one-page tax filing, personally speaking, I think that's a great idea. That's a great idea. That has nothing to do with a flat tax. Our tax code is not overly complicated because we have different marginal rates. You can fit that on one page too, quite easily. And you could write out how much you owe on one page quite easily. The reason why our tax code is so expansive is because moneyed interests have lobbied for their type of income or their type of expenses to not be considered taxable. So you have things like pension contributions are not taxable. Paying interest on home mortgages are tax deductible. If you get capital gains or dividends instead of earning your money, well, that's taxed at a different rate. Some people have an earned income tax credit. State and local taxes may be deductible. Children, dependents deductible. Maybe, care for the kids deductible. Work expenses deductible, depending on what status you are. On and on and on. So it has nothing to do. If it's a flat tax or not, I mean, either you're going to get rid of all those deductions and you're going to get rid of what actually constitutes income that is subject to the flat tax or the progressive tax. Doesn't matter. So the idea that a flat tax is simpler is like saying, I don't know, a cup is simpler than a glass.
Why isn't that true? How is a cup not simpler than a glass? Every day you get out here on the radio with your arrogant Jew attitude, and you never once justify, you never explain what you think freedom is. You never said why a cup isn't better than a glass, which it is, because you could use it for both hot and cold liquids. You can't do that with a glass. Think about it. Use logic.
Touche.
I'm a doctor. And then you didn't see me with that chainsaw, man. I looked awesome.
Now, let me tell you about the other thing about a flat tax.
I'm going to be president, and I'm going to beat my dad and you and the Jews and the blacks. And there are listeners of this show, correct?
I will say this other thing about a flat tax. A flat tax is horribly regressive because in every proposal I've seen for a flat tax, you are cutting the taxes of the wealthy. You are raising the taxes of the less wealthy. You'll still have, right, a sales tax and Social Security tax, just an income tax. So you're just basically cutting the taxes of the rich. And if you have the flat tax up like around 50% or something, well, then you're obviously making it impossible for a lot of people to be able to even put food on the table. So it's really just another way of saying cut taxes on the rich, period. End of story. And you can bring out as many power tools as you want, Rand Paul. I don't think anybody's going to pay attention to you. Sorry. Saw off your own leg, see if that works.
You know what this is all reminding me of? Like when, a video naturally goes viral and everyone's talking about it. And then all these, in this case, Donald Trump is that original video. Right. And then all these brands are like, oh, we need to do something like that.
We need to make a viral video.
Yeah. And that's exactly what all the other Republican candidates are doing.
Definitely. And we're going to see that dynamic play out in the debate. That's what I keep saying. Donald Trump is going to say, like, we need to crash this agreement, make a better deal. And then Jeb Bush is going to go, oh, well, not only do we need to crash this agreement and make a better deal, but we need to bomb them. And then Scott Walker's going to say, no, well, not only do we need to bomb them, we need to actually drop live human beings on them.
Imagine if we dropped a tactical nuke on Tehran and then we set up an enterprise zone. Think about it. Freedom, victory.
All right, let's go to the